In this video, we will walk through one simple question. What is a CVR number in Denmark, and why does it matter for anyone doing business there? Let's start with the basics. A CVR number is the official business registration number used in Denmark. Think of it as a company's ID in the eyes of Danish authorities. CVR stands for Det Centrale Virksomhedsregister, or the Central Business Register. Every legal entity engaged in business activities in Denmark, whether it is a one-person consultancy, a tech startup, or a large multinational subsidiary, is identified by this unique 8-digit number. When you see a Danish company issuing an invoice, signing a contract, or filing a tax return, the CVR number is the key that links that activity to the right legal entity. It is comparable to a company registration number or business ID in many other countries, but in Denmark, it is at the heart of how the public sector and private sector interact. So how does a CVR number fit into the broader system? In Denmark, the primary public portal for business information is called accountants.dk, and the underlying registry is the Central Business Register. When a company is created, core information is recorded here: its legal form, address, ownership structure, industry code, and whether it is registered for VAT or as an employer. All of this is anchored by the CVR number. Public authorities, banks, suppliers, business partners, and sometimes even customers use this number to check that a business is legitimate and active. If you enter a CVR number into the online register, you can typically see who you are dealing with, which is one reason Denmark consistently ranks high for transparency and ease of doing business. Now, if you are an individual thinking about starting a business in Denmark, you may wonder, when do I actually need a CVR number? The answer depends on the nature and scale of your activities. If you are engaging in commercial activities on a continuous basis, especially if you plan to charge VAT or hire employees, you almost certainly need to register and obtain a CVR number. For a typical sole proprietor, known as an enkeltmandsvirksomhed, this happens early in the process. You go to accountants.dk, submit your information, and once your business is approved, you receive your CVR number. For incorporated entities like an APS, which is a private limited company, the CVR number is issued as part of the formal company formation process. In both cases, you cannot operate as a fully recognized Danish business without it. For foreign businesses, the CVR number is equally important. If a non-Danish company starts having taxable activities in Denmark, such as a permanent establishment, local employees, or regular sales that require Danish VAT registration, it will typically need to register and get a CVR number or a related registration that allows it to interact with Danish authorities. This is what enables the company to issue compliant Danish invoices, pay local taxes, and be recognized in the Central Business Register. From a practical perspective, what does having a CVR number allow you to do? First, it allows you to register for VAT, known locally as MOMS, if your turnover exceeds the VAT threshold, or if you choose to register voluntarily. This is essential if you are selling goods or services where VAT applies, because you must list your CVR number and VAT status on invoices. Second, it allows you to register as an employer, so you can pay Social Security contributions, withhold income tax from employees, and comply with Danish labor reporting requirements. Third, it is required for many contractual relationships. Banks will typically ask for your CVR number when you open a business account. Landlords may request it when you sign a commercial lease, and corporate customers often require it before they can set you up as a supplier. You may also have heard about something called a CPR number and wondered how it relates. A CPR number is the personal identification number for individuals in Denmark, while the CVR number is the identification number for businesses. A sole proprietor will usually have both, the CPR number as a private person and the CVR number as a business owner. However, in professional and contractual contexts, you should use your CVR number when acting on behalf of the business. This separation is important for accountability, for tax reporting, and for maintaining a clear distinction between personal and business activities. Let's also look at how you find and use a CVR number in practice. If you are dealing with a new supplier or partner, go to the official Danish business register online and enter their name or number. You can quickly see whether the company is active, when it was founded, and which activities it is registered for. If the information in the register does not match what the company tells you, that is a signal to ask more questions. For your own business, you should display your CVR number clearly on invoices, on your website's legal or contact page, and often in email signatures, especially in B2B contexts. It is a straightforward way to show counterparts that you are properly registered and compliant. There are also some common misconceptions worth addressing. One is that a CVR number alone makes you a company with limited liability. That is not the case. The CVR number is simply a registration identifier. Whether you have limited liability depends on the legal form you choose, for example, an APS for limited liability or an enkeltmansvirksomhed, where you are personally liable. Another misconception is that small or part-time businesses do not need a CVR number. In reality, if your activities are structured and ongoing, or if they cross certain thresholds for turnover or complexity, you are likely required to register. Danish authorities are relatively clear on the criteria, and it is generally safer to seek registration early instead of trying to correct things later. Finally, let's consider why understanding the CVR system matters, even if you are not a lawyer or an accountant. If you are an entrepreneur, investor, or manager, the CVR number is your entry point into Denmark's business infrastructure. It enables you to build trust with stakeholders, streamline compliance, and avoid unnecessary friction when dealing with banks, customers, and public agencies. It also allows you to leverage Denmark's digital public services, where much of the interaction with authorities is automated and anchored in your CVR data. When managed correctly, this can reduce administrative burden and give you more time to focus on strategy and growth. So, to summarize the key message, a CVR number in Denmark is more than just 8 digits. It is the official identity of your business, the basis for tax and regulatory compliance, and a practical tool for establishing credibility in the market. Whether you are launching a startup in Copenhagen, expanding a foreign company into the Danish market, or simply working with Danish partners, taking the time to understand and use the CVR system correctly is a small step that can unlock significant long-term benefits.